everybody, I'm So from the Big Journey Company, and if you're on the 2019 September Kenya Safari, I'm the chap who's going to meet you over there and travel around with you. What I thought I would do is I'm just going to go through the things that I will pack in my luggage and hope that that will help you get ready for your trip. First off, there are no formal occasions on this trip. No need for evening dresses, ladies, or suits for the gents, anything like that. Casual and comfortable is the order of the day for this trip. It is also worthwhile remembering during the day when we're out and about in the bush, it does sometimes get quite dusty. So don't bring your brand new lovely white shirts and things like that. Bring the stuff that's a little bit older, that's going to get dusted up and washed during the trip. Okay, so let's start with getting into the country. I know it's not strictly in my luggage, but please don't forget your passport. You may well have a piece of paper that your visa is on. Mine's a multi-entry that actually lives in my passport, but passport and visa, very important to start us off. With clothing, I'll start from the bottom. I normally travel in a pair of these. These are what we call approach shoes in the UK. Now, trainers, tennis shoes, sandals are okay. I would stick to closed-toed rather than open-toed. Little bits of stones and thorns tend to get in if not. But think about a good sole. If you're going to stand on a thorn, you don't want it going through. So flimsy flip-flops and things like that are no good. Solid sole and you'll be fine, okay? Now, obviously, we're going to go underwear and socks. That's easy enough. And just as a little bit of an aside, there are dunking pools as opposed to big swimming pools. So ladies, swimming costume, gents, some trunks or some swim shorts, do pop them in the bag. Especially when you're in Samburu, I'll give you a little bit of time, and a dunk in the pool and a glass of wine or something is really worth its time. During the day, you will probably see me in either a long pair of cotton trousers or just a pair of shorts on the bottom. And in the evening, normally I'm in something like a pair of linen trousers and a casual shirt. Sorry, ladies, this is obviously a little bit gentleman sort of centric. If you imagine the gents will be in a pair of linen trousers and maybe a casual shirt, something like that, then the ladies' equivalent for you will be absolutely perfect. Again, no need for evening dresses or anything like that. Now, a couple of areas that we go to, the Masai Mara in the evening and in the Aberdares Mountains, it can be a little bit chilly in the evening. So you might want to think about nightwear, pair of pajamas, night dress, something like that, for those 2 or 3 evenings where it's a little bit cooler. Moving further up the body, just for an outer layer at the moment, again, a little bit chilly while I'm on that, a fleece, a cardigan, some kind of sweater is worth having in the evenings in the Masai Mara, and when we're in the Aberdares Mountains, a little bit chilly. So having something like that, especially if you're going on the balloon ride, by the way, is definitely worth having. So I'm just coming here for shirts. So during the day, I will probably be in my Big Journey Company shirt, as I am. Possibly a short sleeve shirt, maybe a t-shirt. I've got a t-shirt over here. You know, I will normally bring a few t-shirts as well. And in the evening, the chances of there will be more insects. The chances of getting bitten are slightly higher. We're normally not infested or anything, but in the evening you may well see me in a long sleeve shirt as opposed to a short sleeve shirt, and again, trousers rather than shorts. When we get to, where have I put them? Here we go. On the top, headgear. Now, think about the back of your neck. I'm a big fan in the heat of a wide-brimmed hat all the way around. If that's not your thing, baseball cap, whatever, but just have a think about the back of your neck, maybe a bit of a material or something like that. You're traveling around the equator. It's going to be very, very hot in a lot of time, especially in the middle of the day. Now then, let's go to gadgets and things like that. Let's start with camera. I'm filming on mine, obviously. I haven't got the prop, as it were. Please remember, when you're bringing your cameras, cables, spare cards, you will take a lot of photos, batteries. It's a UK power plug, sorry. Put my teeth back in. UK power plug. So if you're coming from the UK, you are okay. If you're coming from the States, Canada, Europe, then what you're going to do is you're going to need a converter or an adapter depending on your equipment. Please remember, a converter is slightly different to an adapter. You will be able to charge on the vehicles, you will be able to charge in your hotels. The electricity does go off at certain hours. So if you do need 24-hour electricity, do let me know, I can facilitate it. But that said, I do carry a battery charger, the USB charger. Now, obviously mine is fairly hefty because I let other people charge off it, but a small charger or something like that can be really quite useful. A little bit of battery charger, just giving you a little bit of extra should you require it. Now then, wash bag, toothbrush, razor, all that kind of stuff in. Very important first aid kit and any other medication which you require during the trip. And if you need any help taking care of it, whether it's cool, it needs to be kept in the fridge, that kind of thing, then do let us know and then we'll accommodate it. But do remember your pills and potions and all that kind of thing that you need. Going back to very hot, hats, sunglasses I didn't mention, but also sun cream. And you might want to think about sun cream for your lips as well. I know some people like it, some people don't, but do remember those. I will have them. If you forget, do come and see me. If you do forget, sun cream in Kenya is very, very expensive. I did want to talk about binoculars. I do get asked about them quite a lot. I'm just going to come in a little bit closer. If you notice, my binoculars don't have a focus wheel. That's because they're autofocus binoculars. And if you think about being on safari, it's a very, very fluid thing. You're watching the animals and they're moving. So actually often having to focus all the time is a problem. Now, these are a pair of Bushnell 10x42s. They do an 8x36 as well. Very, very useful. Probably cost you about $120 in the US, maybe 80, 90 pounds in the UK, something like that. But that's a massive positive investment in your safari, is a reasonable pair of autofocus binoculars. Okay, that's definitely worth having. Snacks I like to bring up for a couple of reasons. You can buy Snickers bars and you can buy chocolate and stuff like that over in Kenya, but it melts a lot. Especially if you have dietary requirements, think about the snacks you might want to take with you to Kenya, because actually getting you something suitable, if you're gluten-free or vegan or something like that, can be very, very difficult in Kenya. And the other thing is, it being a very, very fluid itinerary, as in we might go out looking for something and we hear of something really, really rare, so off we'll go to try and find it. So I may have told you we're going to be back in 2.5 hours and we might not get back for 3.5 hours. So a few snacks in your bags actually is always a good idea. Quick one on money for you. It's very difficult to tell you how much money to bring. Some people buy lots of gifts, some people don't. There are cash machines on the way. There will be days where we'll go out into the bush for 2 or 3 days. So if you do want a cash machine, tell your driver and we'll get to you one before we go out. You can use your credit cards to pay your bills at your hotels. That's not a problem. But having a little bit of cash when we're driving around and you want to buy a soda from a roadside shop or something like that is actually really, really useful. So do come and talk to me about it and we can have a chat about the cash. Now, that's pretty much it, I think, if you're going to Kenya. If you're going on to Rwanda, there's probably half a dozen other things that I would stick extra in your bag. Now, you can rent raincoats and things like that, and Wellington boots or gum boots, I'm not sure what you call them in the US, if you want to. I prefer to take my own. So think about the weather for a second. When we arrive in Kigali, it will be similar to Kenya, so that's fine, but we're going to go off up into the mountains. It's going to be about 10 degrees Celsius, early 50s Fahrenheit. It's going to be wet, damp, and we could encounter some rain. So I will, from a foot point of view, I will take my walking boots. If you've got them, I would bring them. You'll spend most of your time in Rwanda in the boots if you want to. And when you're trekking, if you're renting Wellingtons that don't quite fit you, you're likely to be trekking for about 3 hours, but you could be trekking for 4 or 5 hours. It does depend on where the gorillas move. So if you have got good walking boots, waterproof, good sole, I will be taking mine. The other thing is if you want to take hiking trousers, because obviously you probably won't have these for Kenya. These are just light or mid-weight hiking trousers. Again, you could be on steep ground. It's going to be muddy. Jeans aren't suitable for hiking in the rainforest. They're going to get damp. It's going to cause chafing and things like that. So a reasonable pair of hiking trousers is good for Rwanda. And then waterproof gear. I will take a lightweight Kagul kind of waterproof, and the other thing I will take, again, you don't have to, is I will take waterproof trousers. The reason I do that is when you're going up in the rainforest and it's quite steep, the ground is normally wet. If you get a little bit tired and we have a break and you want to sit down, actually something to keep your butt dry, it's actually really useful. So I'll probably take a pair of those. The other thing you might want to consider, if you're not taking waterproof trousers, is a pair of gaiters. Go up to your knees and link on underneath your boots, just to keep the bottom of your legs dry. That will be very useful for you. It can be a little bit cooler. You will have your sweater or your fleece that you've brought to Kenya. I may well just put on or take with me a gilet, just another layer, just in case it's a little bit cooler than we expect. There's no weight in it, very light. And the other couple of things I normally take, you may have this with Kenya if you're a motorbike rider or whatever, you'll see just a length of material. It's quite good just for putting around your neck when it's really hot to keep the sun off the back of your neck, or if it's a little bit cool, it just dampens, it just fills that gap on your neck there. The other thing for Rwanda, which I'm a big fan of, is this is a gardening glove. If you're on high ground in the rainforest, there's quite a few plants that have little bits of thistles or spikes on them and things like that. So if you put your hand down, to have something with a nice, relatively thick rubber palm actually is really, really useful. Now, sometimes you can rent them and sometimes there aren't any there. So actually, for the weight that they take, that's a really good tip, just to have some of those with you. I think that's it. Obviously, if you've got any questions, please come and ask the questions. We'll be there. I will be giving you a call probably around about middle of August, something like that, just to make sure you're okay, talk through all the details with you and just have a little bit of a chat and get to know each other, answer any questions you've got. The office can always get hold of me, so please do give me a call. This is absolutely number one on the bucket list as far as I'm concerned. The office will tell you I will rant on about safari forever. So I'm really excited to see you in Kenya, and we will have a fabulous time. Take care, and I'll see you soon.